Hello, my name is Rosemary Savoth, and today I will be talking about Leah's pregnancy test entering the Cambodian market. A little background on the Leah pregnancy test is that there hasn't been a major update to the pregnancy test in over 30 years until now. Leah's breakthrough technology makes it the first and only flushable, biodegradable pregnancy test. Leah is engineered to be discreet and good for the environment without sacrificing accuracy. The future of pregnancy testing is here. When evaluating the Leah pregnancy test, it has a relative advantage where there are none on the market and the product is new and innovative. Its compatibility with Cambodia is that all pregnancy tests in Cambodia are urinary ones. There is not much of a difference in the type of tests, but the pregnancy tests in Cambodia are a social norm. As for complexity, the usage of the test is similar to the normal pregnancy test, but the only difference with Leah's pregnancy test is that it's flushable and biodegradable. As for trialability, there's not really a big social risk for the pregnancy test in general. However, abortions are more of a social risk, which does not apply to the pregnancy test itself. However, with an economic risk, over the past 2 decades, Cambodia has undergone a significant transition, reaching lower middle income status in 2015 and aspiring to attain upper middle class status by 2030. So therefore, with its increasing amount of economic growth, that we can assume that although the Cambodian economy is not that of a rich one, they continue to grow and show that over the years the product will face less of an economic risk. As for observability on the product itself, due to Leah's breakthrough technology making it the first and only flushable biodegradable pregnancy test and being engineered to be discreet and good for the environment without sacrificing accuracy, we can assume that it will be accepted without resistance, as many women who need to use the pregnancy test feel ashamed to use them in harsh times in Cambodia. As for product acceptance, we can assume that major problems and resistances to the product acceptance itself is that based on the preceding evaluation, we can assume that the only resistance to the product acceptance is that it's different in a type of pregnancy test, since Leah is so different from others on the market. However, we can assume some adaptation with the product itself, such as vamping it up to be more acceptable according to packaging. So, according to various packaging companies based in Cambodia, the best choice for packaging would be to use bright pastel colors such as pink, blue, or green due to the current trend of light colors in packaging in Cambodia. In regards to marketing in Cambodia, we can assume with its markets that the geographic regions that will best fit Leah's pregnancy test would be major cities such as Phnom Penh, Bat Nambong, Siem Reap, and Kampong Cham. So, based on this, in order to communicate with the audience, we can assume that most Cambodians have at least some access to television. 90% of urban households have a television versus the 78% of rural households in Cambodia. Virtually all Cambodian youth 15 to 24 years have access to TV, radio, and we found that 70% of them watched the TV daily and 50% listen to the radio daily. 9% of homes have access to cable television. In addition, internet usage is growing in Cambodia, which has the most popular phone applications such as Facebook, YouTube, Line, Skype, Viber, and Tango. As for transportation, a majority of the people takes a motodrop or a motorbike taxi, the tuk-tuk, which is the most popular form of mode transportation in Cambodia, which are two-wheeled carriages pulled by a motorbike. They also have the national bus, local bus, ride-hailing apps, and also their train, private taxis, bicycles, and private automobiles. As for consumer buying habits, the product use patterns would be women who are expecting pregnancy or want to know if they are pregnant, and expecting parents. As for product feature preferences, a majority of people want a reliable, discreet, and biodegradable form of pregnancy tests. As for the shopping habits of the target audience, most Cambodians prefer to do shopping at traditional markets over modern trade outlets such as convenience stores, shopping centers, and supermarkets. A majority of other popular markets are wet markets, along with shopping and trade stores. In addition, we can also find that many Cambodians worry about product safety, especially products from China or Vietnam. In fact, Cambodians have reason to be distrustful of products as many cheap products sold in Cambodia do not meet safety standards. As for the distribution of products, typical retail outlets are their main type of distribution. In addition, as for advertising and promotion, many still use TV advertising along with print advertising, along with advertising on billboards and the tuk-tuk itself. As for sales promotions customarily used, many promotions are hosted through giveaways, which are often used to introduce the Khmer to international products that have never been seen before in the Kingdom of Cambodia. As for pricing strategy on this, customarily in Cambodia, items are marked up by 40%. When we take a look at the competitors' products, there are two examples. One, which is the Assured Pregnancy Test, which is the average drugstore take-home pregnancy test and can be found on online retailers such as Deli Shop Online in Phnom Penh, which also costs $4.50. As for another competitor, there's also a clinical program for sexual education in which is Cambodia's version of Planned Parenthood, being Marie Stops. Their pregnancy tests retail at about $1.25. So when comparing the two examples of pregnancy tests within Cambodia, it can be found that the at-home pregnancy tests are rather cheap in price, along with being conventional. However, Leah's pregnancy tests have the advantage of being discreet and biodegradable. As for the competitors' distribution channels, we have found that many are within convenience stores, supermarkets, and online ordering. The Asia Pacific pregnancy and ovulation testing market by end user is segmented into hospitals, clinics, fertility centers, and others. With competitors' promotion and advertising methods, many use in-store advertisements such as posters. Moving on to the market size of Cambodia, it seems as though the estimated industry sales in general in the Asia-Pacific region have drastically increased and are expected to be worth $298.68 million US dollars by 2023 and are continuing to rise. In addition to this, we can assume that our estimated sales for the company can almost be at least 2.5% of the industry to be that of the Leah pregnancy test. Therefore, the expected sales for the planning year would be around roughly $7 million. Lastly, as for issues with government participation in the marketplace, many rules and regulations that must be followed pertain to documentation requirements, labeling requirements, import duties and fees and taxes, along with intellectual property law and protections. In conclusion, the best course of action for the Leah pregnancy test would be to enter the Cambodian market. Thank you for listening.